We interrupt this program to bring you
Dirty South, dirty. Can y'all really feel me? East Coast, feel me. West Coast, feel me. Dirty South, dirty. Can y'all really feel me? I got East, feel me. West, feel me.
Boy, I've been watching you like the hawk in the sky. You are my prey. Boy, I promise you, if we keep bumping heads, I know that one of these days we gon' hook it up, probably talk on the phone. But see, I don't know if that's good. I've been holding back this secret from you. I probably should.
Megan Thee Stallion. Stand out to you?
I can't really say.
Not a Cardi B fan?
No, but you know the reason why I can't say is because I feel like they're all rapping about the same thing, and I don't feel like I don't think they're showing us who's the best rapper. I think they're trying to show, for me, it's like strippers rapping, and I don't. As far as rap goes, I'm not getting who is the best rapper. I'm getting like, okay, you got a story about you dancing in the club. You got a story about you dancing in the club. You got a story about you dancing in the club. Okay, all right. Who's getting ready to? Who's gonna be the rapper?
Now, as I'm sure everyone watching this knows, a lot of modern female rappers get little to no respect. And this is where it gets tricky. There's always been this back and forth game of ping pong when it comes to the standards for women in rap. I call it the enough is never enough paradox. In Volume 1, I discussed how in the 90s, rappers like Da Brat and MC Lyte were respected for being modest, cutthroat, and mirroring qualities in a man. But then when rappers like Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown gained popularity, female MCs were respected for being unapologetically feminine, and being a tomboy became unattractive. But then, as more and more women became sexual, hypersexuality became overbearing. And then when underground girls went back to that cutthroat and tomboyish style from the 80s, they were looked at as posers and weren't taken seriously. But then after Cardi B essentially brought back that sexual edge to female rap music, people are now complaining that all women rap about is sex. So as you can see, the standards for women are extremely confusing and always changing. Women are constantly forced to change their flows, be less sexual here and more sexual there, and it's very preferential. They have to find this balance of being sexually appealing enough for male gaze, but not too sexual that you're a whore. So I've decided to break down the crucifixion of modern female rappers into two parts, starting with the public's indecisiveness.
I'm chilling heavy, understand me, baby, this gangsta boo. I'm chilling heavy, understand me, baby, this gangsta boo.
As I mentioned before, many female MCs from the trap girl era went overlooked due to their disregard for sex appeal, despite still being feminine. And you'd think that pretty girls with rough cadences would be exactly what the media gravitated to, given their disfavor for hypersexual music. But instead, artists like Cardi B go mainstream. And this is not a dig at Cardi B. She's a great artist. But why is it that so many people complain about the mediocre sexual nature of female rap, yet sexual rap is all that's charting? Many of the new mainstream rap girls like Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Miss Mulatto, and Ruby Rose are constantly under fire for their lyrics and music videos. Yet these are the main women charting in rap. People will literally make rant videos about how annoying female rap is due to its eroticism, but then watch a Nicki Minaj video in slow motion to gawk at her body. It's similar to when people say they'd never date a porn star because they have no respect for themselves, but then they masturbate 10 times a week. How can you criticize something that you actively indulge in, especially when artists like Noname, Chica, Rhapsody, and probably many more underground girls waiting to be discovered remain under the radar and underappreciated? The public claims that they want lyrical and conscious women in rap as if they're not sitting right in front of you waiting to be appreciated. There was even an entire era of girls waiting to be appreciated that no one took seriously. And if sexual music genuinely just isn't your cup of tea, that's fine. But why constantly call out the mediocrity in something that you don't even like? Especially when this same disregard isn't applied to male rappers. There were so many politicians, men and women, who had so much to say about Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's WAP when it was released. So many gossip sites and commentary channels saying things like, oh my god, this is getting old, sexual music is so tired. And again, if you personally don't like hypersexual music, that's fine. But I noticed that when Throat Baby, a song by BRS Cash, a male rapper, came out, nobody had the same energy. The song, in my opinion, was just as vulgar and the music video was extremely erotic, yet no backlash. And that's the root of the issue. Double standards. I had a conversation about this a while ago with a friend of mine on Instagram, @girlfanonly, and she said, women can't catch a break. Men talk about the same thing, have the same flow, same beat, and half of them don't even put on a decent show. They can stand in the middle of the stage and just rap, but women in the game give 1000% from fashion, stage presence to sex appeal, and still crucified because they have their own flow. I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a certain sense of formulaic similarity that's very prevalent in the female rap community. There are a lot of female MCs who simply don't have a true sense of originality and try to gain attention by basically copycatting the more A-list rap girls. And it gets tiring to see so many women release such hackneyed and unimaginative music. Make no mistake, this isn't meant to exclude women from criticism or to say that there isn't a certain sense of mediocrity in the female rap community, because there are a lot of repetitious formulas. But when women are constantly scrutinized for the same things that men are praised for, that means the basis of people's disregard is strictly based on gender, which is a problem. And that's what we see a lot today in mainstream media. It's okay for male rappers to rap about sex, drugs, and money, things that NWA has been talking about since the 80s, but female rap gets called out for being repetitive. Men can make a bunch of baby noises and put little effort into their music, and it's fine because it's fun to listen to. But if a woman makes a fun track with little effort put into it, it becomes female rap is lazy. The issue with these so-called critiques is that they're almost always solely based on gender, or the fact that people don't like that women are in rap. Artists like Playboi Carti, despite having a different sound, have been widely celebrated for their uniqueness. And while some may consider it to be not real music, seeing as it isn't super lyrical, the fact that he puts his heart into what he creates is respectable to some people, and people find his music to be enjoyable to listen to, despite the fact that they can't understand majority of what he's saying. This is acceptable for a man. I'm not trying to demean the artistry of what he creates, but if we're talking about lyricism, it isn't the most lyrical work, but it's okay. If it's enjoyable to listen to, it has a nice beat, and you can tell that it was made with the intention to get lit to, then people can enjoy it. But this same mindset is not applied to women in rap. If you're a woman in rap, you have to practically be Nicki Minaj in order to be respected. Which, quick sidebar, let's talk about that for a second. The constant Nicki comparisons. A while back, DJ Proof made this Instagram story where he said, "Man, I miss Nicki just like y'all. Female artists, y'all really gotta step your bars up and start making music, cause some of this shit I'm hearing is terrible. Just saying." I bring this up because of all the new rap girls that get crucified for their music, there is one female MC that does get a decent amount of respect, and that's Doja Cat. Many people deem her as the princess of rap, and a lot of the times that title comes from bloggers who compare her to Nicki Minaj. And although Doja is a very lyrical artist, why do women in rap have to live up to their predecessors in order to be respected? The new women in rap are always being compared to Nicki, forced to be as diverse as Nicki, told that they'll never be Nicki, and it's unfair that these girls have to have their accomplishments demeaned and belittled because they'll never live up to a legend. Whenever a new female rapper wins a Grammy, gets a #1, or breaks a record, the first thing people do is run to social media and talk about how it wouldn't be possible if Nicki didn't pave the way. And it's especially unfair when men, again, aren't held to that same standard. Not to say that there aren't hip-hop bloggers out there that don't crucify all young artists, men and women included, but when do you ever see artists like Lil Baby or Gunna forced to be as diverse as Kanye West? Men aren't forced to live up to their predecessors. They aren't forced to be as good as those that came before them. Men are allowed to be themselves and express themselves however they want to. If a man has a bad album, it's just that, a bad album. But if a woman has a bad album, it's yet another testament as to why female rap is inferior. I'm not saying that women don't or can't make bad music. However, it's the public's biased reactions to mediocre music that I'm calling out. I'm also not saying that male rappers don't get crucified for their music as well. I know I focus mainly on female rappers because that was the focus of my trilogy. But there are tons of pretentious old heads that do criticize a lot of young male rappers and give them a hard time. The purpose of this series is simply to shed light on the constant hypocritical standards women in the rap industry face. because I feel like we don't talk about it as much as we should. And with that, I can finally close my series about the gender bias behind mediocrity in rap music. Hopefully you enjoyed. Follow me on Instagram at vintage.coochie for more of my opinions, or you can subscribe here if you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.